What if the biggest battle of your life is not outside you, but inside your own mind? Most people are not destroyed by failure. They are destroyed by overthinking, weak habits, emotional chaos, and the inability to control themselves. In this video, you'll discover the psychology of mental strength, silent discipline, and what it really takes to win when life is trying to break you. If you truly want to level up, stay with me until the end, because this message might change the way you see yourself forever. Most people do not lose because they are untalented. They lose because their mind has been trained to chase comfort over growth. Psychology teaches us something brutal but powerful. The human mind repeats what it practices. If you practice fear, excuses, distraction, and emotional weakness, those patterns slowly become your personality. But if you practice discipline, self-control, focus, and resilience, those same patterns start becoming your power. That means your future is not being built only in big moments. It is being built every day through the thoughts you repeat, the habits you protect, and the choices you make when nobody is watching. The problem is that the human mind naturally moves toward what feels safe, easy, and familiar. That is why so many people stay stuck in cycles they secretly hate. Overthinking feels easier than action. Complaining feels easier than changing. Scrolling feels easier than building. Temporary comfort feels like relief, but over time it becomes a trap. And the most dangerous part is this. Your brain can get so used to comfort that it starts seeing discipline as pain and distraction as peace. Once that happens, a person does not just avoid struggle. They start avoiding their own potential. That is how average lives are built, not through one big failure, but through thousands of small escapes. One of the strongest psychological shifts happens when a person stops asking, "How do I feel today?" and starts asking, "Who am I becoming through my actions?" That one question can change everything. Feelings come and go. Identity stays. If you build your life around emotion, you become unstable. But if you build your life around values, standards, and discipline, you become dangerous in the best possible way. A focused person does not need motivation every day. A disciplined person does not wait to feel ready. And a strong mind is not the mind that never feels pain. It is the mind that refuses to let pain make all the decisions. Another truth psychology reveals is that attention is one of the highest forms of power. Whatever controls your attention eventually starts controlling your life. If your focus is constantly being pulled by noise, fake urgency, toxic people, and emotional drama, then your energy is being stolen before you even begin your real work. The strongest people are often not the loudest or the most gifted. They are simply the most selective. They know what deserves their mind and what does not. In a world designed to distract you every second, deep focus becomes a form of self-respect. The person who can protect their peace and concentration already has an advantage most people will never understand. There is another reason people stay stuck, and it is darker than most are willing to admit. Sometimes the mind becomes attached to suffering simply because suffering feels familiar. Many people keep choosing toxic patterns, low standards, weak routines, and painful relationships not because they enjoy them, but because they are used to them. Familiar pain feels safer than unfamiliar growth. Healing demands identity change. Discipline demands sacrifice. Success demands that you stop being the version of yourself that made excuses for everything. And for many people, that transformation feels more uncomfortable than staying broken. This is why growth is not only about learning new things. It is also about becoming brave enough to leave behind the version of yourself that no longer deserves control. That is where silent discipline becomes powerful. When you begin keeping promises to yourself in private, your entire psychology begins to shift. When you wake up early without announcing it, stay focused without posting it, train your mind without external praise, and keep moving when nobody sees your effort, you build something far deeper than motivation. You build self-respect. And once self-respect becomes stronger than your need for validation, your whole life starts changing. You stop performing strength for people and start becoming strong for real. The world may not notice your silent growth at first, But silence is often where the strongest transformations are born. The next level of mental power is emotional control. Not pretending you feel nothing. Not suppressing everything. Real control means you feel deeply. But you do not let temporary emotions control your identity, your discipline, or your future. Weak people react to everything. They let anger destroy their words, sadness destroy their consistency, and fear destroy their decisions. Strong people feel all of that too. But they pause. They think. They respond with intention. That pause between emotion and action is where true power lies. Because the person who can stay calm while life becomes chaotic becomes nearly impossible to shake. So if you feel behind in life right now, understand this clearly. Your comeback begins in the mind long before it appears in reality. The moment you stop feeding weakness, stop worshiping comfort, stop negotiating with your excuses, and start training your mind like it actually matters, your life begins to change. Not overnight, but deeply and permanently. If you can control your mind, you can change your life. That is the real power most people never build. Subscribe to Next Level Mind for more deep psychology, mindset, and motivational videos, and start becoming the version of yourself that no fear, no pain, and no distraction can control.